I wasn't looking for love on a train across Canada, but a conversation with a beautiful stranger blossomed into a global adventure, leading me back to her in Germany. We met on a train. This past summer, I went on the trip of a lifetime. I flew to Toronto and explored Canada for 2 weeks. I took the train round trip up to Montreal, and I went over to Niagara Falls for the 3rd time. The main reason I flew to Canada was to board the VIA rail train from Toronto to head out to Vancouver. It took us about 100 hours to cross on the second day of the trip. In the dome car, I ran across a beautiful blonde woman from Germany. We ended up chatting up there for quite a few hours. We stayed up just talking about everything, about my experiences in Germany a year earlier, and about our mutual solo adventures around the world. Never in my life have I had so much fun getting to know somebody. When you meet the right person and it clicks, it just gives you such a warm feeling. That first night, we stayed up till 1 in the morning just talking in the dome. We had the chance to get off the train to explore the Winnipeg train station, but we both just stayed up in the dome. I did not want to leave our deep, meaningful conversation, and she didn't either. We ended up chatting many more times and had a few meals together during the rest of the train trip. Our trips were very similar. Mine was Canada and Australia, and hers was Canada, New Zealand, Singapore, and Thailand. Once we got into Vancouver, we all split ways after the train ride was over. We, of course, connected through WhatsApp. The following day, when I was scheduled to fly to Australia, I got an email from the airline saying that my extra legroom seat was canceled because they had no record of me purchasing it, but they were gonna give me a refund. So I was fuming mad. I went to the airport really early and got a hold of an airport manager for Air Canada. They ended up giving me $15 off a new seat. I wanted to tell them where they could stick it, but I did not want to get kicked off the plane. But this is where fate stepped in again. Once I completed getting my ticket situated for my flight to the land down under, I got a message from the beautiful German lady that she was also at the airport waiting for her car rental to explore Canada a few more weeks. We were in separate food courts, so I went and asked for directions to the other one. Once I got there, I looked around everywhere, and I couldn't find her, so I shot her a message and told her where I was. A few seconds later, she found me. We ended up chatting for several more hours at the airport before we both split ways for a good on this trip. She went off to her car rental, and I went off to my plane to Brisbane. I shot her a message saying, "Thank you for making my day, because after all that stress of my airline ticket, I was on cloud 9 being able to see her again." She said the same, that it really meant a lot to her to see me again too. Since we only knew each other for a few days, I did not want to rush and go in for a kiss. I asked her if she would be okay if I gave her a hug. This works to my advantage because I'm going to step out and go for it when I see her in the spring. So we ended up sharing all of our stories of the rest of our trips after this. I shared everything from Australia. I got to ride a camel. I went to the top of the Sydney Harbour Bridge. I got to go to the world famous Australia Zoo. I got to ride 4 trains across the entire continent. I got to go to an opal mine, a gold mine, and I got to see humpback whales just outside of the Sydney Harbour. I did so much in my month in Australia. She sent me everything she did as well. We were encouraging each other to step outside of our comfort zones and take our trips to the fullest. When I was on that whale watching tour, the ocean was really rough and people were screaming. There were people that were throwing up from the motion, sickness, and some of these waves were pretty vicious. I was scared we were going to capsize. She was sharing stories with me about her childhood when her grandfather taught her to swim in the Atlantic Ocean in Spain. I encouraged her when she was in New Zealand that she needs to step outside of her comfort zone and paraglide. At first, she was hesitant, but then she actually did it and had the time of her life. We both did a lot in our journeys. Near the end, we both agreed I could come in April 2025 to reconnect with her in Germany. So I bought an airline ticket and I'm flying out to see her. We don't talk much nowadays, but that's because we're both busy. She just messaged me over Christmas to say Merry Christmas and to finalize some of our plans for my visit. I told her the 2 things I want to do. She gave me a full comprehensive list of what to do during my 10-day visit, and I told her I want her to choose what we do because I want to see Munich and Germany through her eyes. It's like this song, The Long Way by Brett Eldridge. I want to see where she grew up. I want to see what made her who she is today. This story still feels like a fairy tale. I wasn't even looking when I found her, but I hear that's when it usually happens. I'm excited beyond belief to fly out in April, and I can't wait to see where this goes. Maybe in a few years I would move overseas, but gonna take it one step at a time. It just might be the start of something good. I have a stuffed kangaroo and a opal necklace for her that I purchased in the Australian outback. Had to bring a little piece of Australia to give to her.